girls and boys. Welcome to our third week of online learning. This week we're going to have one lesson, and then the rest of this time you guys are going to do your own work. Okay? So I just want to introduce you to our next chapter. So far we spoke about particles. Particles in solid, particles in liquid, particles in gas, particles close together, particles far apart. Now we're actually going to look at a particle. Okay? We already mentioned that these particles that all matter is made out of are called atoms. Okay? An atom, I already told you, it comes from the Greek. It's a Greek word which means cannot be divided. Okay? Remember we spoke about the old Greeks, that some of them thought that matter is made out of these units that you can't break, and they call them atoms. Okay? Now in fact atoms do exist, but it turns out that we can break them. But the thing, if we break them, then it ceases to be that material. If I take an iron atom and I break it apart in half, I can't do that. But then it's not iron anymore. It's a bunch of other things. Okay, so they were a little bit correct. Okay, so we're going to look, this lesson is just to basically look at what's happening inside the atom. Okay, so if this is an atom, okay, we make it big. Okay, what you will find is that inside the atom, there is a very small region called the nucleus. Okay? I can't make it as big, okay? As small, sorry, because otherwise you're not going to see it. But the nucleus, if the atom is big, if the atom is very small, the nucleus is tiny. The nucleus is tiny compared to the atom. Okay? The most common example uses, let's say you take an atom and you make it as big as a rugby field. Soccer field, whatever, okay? Big rugby field, okay? Now, your nucleus also gets bigger, but it will be so small in comparison to the atom. It will be the size of a rugby ball. So imagine a whole atom as the field, rugby field, and the nucleus is just a rugby ball. Now, you'll see how amazing that fact is at the end of this lesson. Inside the nucleus, okay, I drew it as a circle, but the nucleus is basically made out of two kind of particles called protons and neutrons. Okay, so I'm going to draw neutrons in green. I hope you guys can see this green here. Okay, so I'll draw a bunch of greens. I'll write down the names in a bit. Okay, and we're going to have protons, which I'll draw in red. Okay, the protons. I will write it down for you because you guys are going to need to copy it. But the protons are positively charged. They have an electric charge. Okay, electric charge come in two types, positive and negative, just like magnets come in north and south. So electricity comes, or electric charge comes in positive and negative. The protons are positively charged. The neutrons, just like it sounds, they're neutral. They don't have an electric charge. Okay, so this is the nucleus. Now, around the nucleus, okay, I will use black for it. Around the nucleus, we've got tiny little particles called electrons. Okay? And they're whizzing around. They're whizzing around. They are negative electrically charged. And they're moving around the atoms very, very fast. Okay? We're not going to talk about exactly where they move around. As far as we're concerned, they're just orbiting the nucleus. Okay? So we can see that there are three types of particles inside the atom. We've got the protons, positively charged, neutrons, neutral, and electron, negatively charged. Okay? Now I'm just going to pause here for a second so I'll get you guys to write down. I'll add some information, you can copy it, and we'll carry on in a minute. Hey, look at this, magic, everything appears there. So I'm going to take you through this, and I'd like you to add that to your diagram, okay? Now there might be some words you can't read because the lighting is not the best. Don't worry, I will give you some notes as well. But I really want you to write that. The process of writing helps you understand it better. So we've got the protons are positively charged. Okay? The neutrons have zero electric charge. Zero mean neutral, they don't have electric charge. The electrons are negatively charged. Okay? Now here's the thing, I said some of it, but I'm adding a little bit to it. The nucleus, I already said, is much smaller. And guys, in a test, I'm going to be quite sticky on this. can't say that the nucleus is smaller than the atom. You have to say it is much smaller. Remember, if the whole size of the atom is the whole rugby field, the nucleus is just a rugby ball. Okay? It's much smaller than the atom. But, and here I'm adding, the nucleus, even though it's small, it carries more than 99% of the mass of the atom. That means all the mass, the stuff that makes the atom, is inside the nucleus. And the reason is that the electrons, even though they occupy most of the space, you can see they're moving around, they have tiny, tiny mass. So all the mass in the nucleus is a nucleus. Now, you might say, okay, so I said that's what's that important? Actually, it's amazing if you think about it. Why? Because the atom is mainly made out of the electrons. Most of the space of the atom is occupied by the electrons. But they don't have mass. So all the stuff that carries the mass of the atom takes a tiny, tiny, tiny little space of it. Less than 1%. But everything, guys, everything is made out of atoms. Okay? So if what I'm telling you really now, guys, is the atom, 99.9% of it is empty. Okay? Only tiny bit of it actually has mass. The rest of it is just empty. Okay? But if everything is made out of atoms, that means 99% of everything, including us, including this phone, including the chair where the laptop sits on, including the air, including everything is made out of emptiness. Everything is empty. Okay? So think about that. That's a bit crazy, isn't it? Yes. Maybe just to finish this little lesson, I can just say that each atom from different materials will have a different number of protons, electrons, neutrons. So if you take oxygen is a gas, okay, it will have a certain number of electrons. Carbon will have a different number of electrons. Okay? Now, how do you know how many electrons or how many protons and neutrons? We will learn when we're going to learn about the periodic table. Okay? All the elements, okay, in our world, okay, are listed in that periodic table. And we're going to learn about that after you guys are going to do a research. Now, I'll explain in the next video the research that you guys are going to do and on one element. Okay, see you next time.